Welcome back, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot sighting number 1. A man was hiking in a remote area of the Beartooth Wilderness in the early 2000s when he came across something that he couldn't explain. He was several miles into the deep wilderness. In fact, there was no trail at all. And he was basically just kind of bushwhacking through this incredibly remote part of the forest when all of a sudden he heard what sounded like screams in the forest. Now, he had heard this probably about 3 or 4 times in the past while hiking in the Beartooth Wilderness. And each time he had just kind of laughed it off, figured it was probably just some sort of big cat. But this time he actually decided to investigate. So he followed the sound, and what he came across was something that he could not explain. He said it was a large, hairy, human-like creature that was sitting on a log, and he said it was probably 7 to 8 feet tall, covered in dark hair. And according to him, it kind of just sat there and stared at him for a brief moment, and then it ran off into the trees. Sighting number 2. A woman claimed that she saw Bigfoot while camping with her family near Mount St. Helens in Washington state. She said she was awoken in the middle of the night to what sounded like screams in the forest. Now, obviously, this is very similar to the first story. And if you want, you can totally picture this as the same exact Bigfoot. This is probably not the case, but it's fun to think about. She said she looked outside the tent and saw what she described as a large, hairy, human-like creature walking through the trees. She said it was about 7 feet tall and it was bipedal. And for whatever reason, it had a red backpack on. She said that she got a good look at it and it definitely wasn't a bear. She said it was too big and it didn't have any claws. Just recently, a man was camping in the Beartooth Wilderness. Yes, we're back there again. And while he was sleeping in his tent, he was awoken in the middle of the night by what he described as screams in the forest. Now, obviously, we've heard this story before. We know how it goes. He said he looked outside of his tent and saw what he described as a large, shadowy figure standing over him. He said it was about 6 to 7 feet tall and it was covered in dark hair. He said it kind of just stood there for a second and then it ran off into the trees. That was 1 minute. See you next time.